Good morning, everyone. I welcome you in this another session of feedback control system. Last lecture, we have seen about the basics of the first order system. What are the first order systems? How they have been decided. Then we have discussed about the various responses about the for the various types of inputs for the first order system. We have seen the impulse response for a first order system, that how the impulse response has been behaving, that is a exponentially decaying system, and how with the variation of the gain and the time constant your response or your response behavior is been depicted. After this, we have also seen the step response for the first order system, in which we have seen about the various step responses for the different gain and the different time constants. Then next is when we change the standard input and we want the first order response to be evaluated on the unit step input. So when we apply the unit step input, which is nothing, let me explain to you. For an example, this is a domain, time domain, where at t is equal to 0, that is with your duty, and this is your time period in this time. So when this ut is your magnitude of the signal at a particular instant of time period, that means when for the t below less than 0 the input is 0, and for the t greater than equal to 0 the t is constant, the ut is constant, it is constant, it is like a step, you can see. That's why it is called as a step response. So if we have the such type of values, then rs is equal to us equal to 1 by s. Therefore cs is equal to k upon s into t plus 1. Now in order to find out the inverse Laplace of the above equation, we need to break it into the partial fraction expansions. And in the partial fraction expansion, we know that there are, once it has been break down, it gives me into two components, that is the forced response and one is the natural response. So the output or the response cs is equal to k upon s minus kt upon ts plus st plus 1. This first term is your forced response and your second term is called as a natural response. Now taking the Laplace inverse of the above equation, we will be getting that Ct is equal to k into ut minus e to the power minus t upon t. Where when we substitute the step response input in time domain is equal to 1 in the above equation, we will be getting this one. That is k minus e to the power minus t upon t, which can be written as 0.632k. What does it mean? Let me explain it to you. That means when I provide a step input, When I provide an step input, the response is coming at 63 is equal to 0.632K. That means look at this plot. This is the plot of the response, step for the step response or for the step input, in which you are getting the 63.63% over here. Okay, you are getting the 63% over here at a time constant value. At a time constant value. And the DC gain is K is nothing but steady state output upon 1. What is the steady state output in this case? This is the steady state output 10. And what is the input? Input is the 1. This is your unit step. So when you get it, your DC gain is coming to 10 upon 1. Is this clear? Now look at this graph. In this graph, you will be finding the various values of time constants at different time intervals. That means for a time constant of t is equal to 1 seconds, your response is being defined given by the blue color, dark blue color. Now in this navy blue color, you're getting the response at very faster rate. Now when I increase the time constant from 1 seconds to 3 seconds, the response rate is reduced somewhat. That means earlier you are achieving the steady state value at near about to be 4.5 seconds, but in the time t is equal to 3 seconds, you are getting the steady state value at around 12 seconds. That means from 4.5 seconds to 12 seconds, just by increasing the time constant by 2, there is a huge response delay. That means you will be able, the system will be able to reach the steady state value after a duration of how much? 15 seconds. Whereas for a time constant of equivalent second, the system will be able to reach the steady state value at nearby around 4.5 seconds or 5 seconds. Now, if you further increase it from 3 seconds to 5 seconds to 7 seconds, you will find out that the system is getting more sluggish. Sluggish means they are getting the steady state output response at a very large interval of time. 7 seconds or more than that. Even at the 15 seconds, for t is equal to 7 seconds, the system is not even able to reach at the steady state condition. So you can understand if the time response, if the time constant is increased, your system becomes sluggish. So the response will be increased. Now look at this. It is the very giving the broad classification view of the various time constants with the error signal. Now, as we increase the time constant from t to 2t to 3t to 5t, we are getting the time constant slope as of by this one. If we draw a tangent from this location, we are getting this slope. If we draw the tangent for 2t, we are getting this slope for 5t and so on for 5t like this. So in this case, you can see when we are taking the slope of 1 by t, the time constant of t, we are getting a response at 63.2, and the error is large. You can see the error is large. This is the remaining portion, the remaining point. How much is even remaining? It is remaining by around 0.37. That is when 37%, 37% is the error in this case. So I've told you in the starting itself that for a time better time constant, we always prefer to take it a 5t, because at a 5t we are getting the response at 99.3%, and the remaining of 0.7% is the error. So in this case, the error is very less. Then the question arises, then why we don't go for the more time constant is of 60, 70, and so on. The reason is that if we go with a further increase in the system with the time constants, the sluggishness of the system will increases, and also comparative to the sluggishness, the error is not reduced as that much comparative to the previous state. That means at a 60, we may be getting the response at around 99.4%, 99.2, or even 99.27. So the error is not been reduced as that much, the way the sluggishness has been increased. So that's why it is preferred with the various analyses and studies that the 5t time constant is far better and very much suitable for the all type of the systems, especially specifically for the first order systems in a step responses. Now the Ct is the given equal to 1 minus e to the power minus t upon t. This is the response and the clause. I hope you have understood this concept. So when I substitute the various values of gain and the time constant t is equal to 1, look at this. At a k is equal to 1, the gain is less, and since the gain is less, the value magnitude is also less. It is this is that is we are getting the response k is equal to gain over here. Okay, and in this case, you will be finding out at near about at 5 seconds in each of the case, in each of the gain, you are getting the steady state just in the 5 seconds. Now, what does it mean? It means that when you increase the gain, the magnitude will increase, but what will happen? But the response to reach to the steady state value, the time taken by the system to reach to steady state value will remain same, but it will vary only with the change in the time constant. For all these values of gain, we have kept the time constant is equal to 1 only. That's why we are getting the same steady state time in the case. I hope you have understood this concept. Now, what is the relationship between the step and the impulse response? The step response of the first order system is Ct is given by k into 1 minus e to the power minus t by t. It can be written as k into k minus e to the power minus t by t. Now, if we differentiate this response of first order step response, first order step response, then we will be getting the dct by dt, which is equal to differentiation, and we will getting k upon t e to the power minus t by t, which is what? Which is your just impulse response. That is, we can say the differentiation of the first order differentiation of the step response yields or results in the impulse response of the system. That means if we have the knowledge about the step response, we can easily calculate the impulse response of the system. Let's take an example. The first order impulse response is been given to you, that is Ct is equal to 3 e to the power minus 0.5 t. Now we have to find out the time constant, the DC gain, the transfer function, and the step response for the system. Now in this, the Laplace transform of the impulse response of the system is actually what? It is the transfer function of the system. That means if we identify the Laplace transform for the impulse response system, then it will yield or results into the transfer function of the system. Therefore, taking the Laplace transform of the impulse response, we can find out. Now, as the equation is given to you, that Ct is equal to 3 into e to the power minus 0.5 t. So, if I do the Laplace transform of this, I will be getting 3 upon s plus a. A is what? 0.5 into 1. Into 1, why I have taken the 1 over here? Because this is the impulse response in S domain. Okay, which is equal to this into delta S. Therefore, C by delta S will be equal to C by RS, which is equal to 3 upon S into plus 0.5. So if I multiply this complete equation by 2, I will be getting the 6 upon 2s plus 1. Therefore, the time constant is coming to be 2. And the transfer function is coming to be 6 upon 2s plus 1. What is the DC gain? The DC gain is coming to be 6. Okay, I think we have calculated everything. Now let's see, with this transfer function, if I apply the step response or the step input to the system, what will be the function value? Okay, so if we apply the step response, RS will be equal to what? 1 upon S. So it will be 6 upon 2S plus 1 in that case. Now, again with the same, if I increase the time constant T is equal to 2 and DC gain is equal to 6 and transfer function is equal to coming to this, the step response, and we have to draw the step response of your on your notebook also. So for the step response, we will integrate this Ct first of all, because the differentiation of the step response is what? The impulse response. So if we have the knowledge about the impulse response, when we integrate it, we will be getting a step response. So the Ct is coming after the step integration is minus 6 into e to the power minus 0.5 t plus c. We can find out the c by the initial conditions, and since in this case we do not have any kind of initial conditions, that's why we are taking it as equal to 0. So C is coming to be equal to 6 and Ct is equal to 6 minus 6 into e to the power minus 0.5 t. This is your step response in time domain. So if the initial conditions are not known, then the partial fraction expansion is the best choice to solve the problem. Which is been given for an example, you have this response which have been calculated, the transfer function which have been calculated previously, and the RS is equal to the step input, which is equal to 1 upon S. Then in that case, when I substitute it, I will be getting CS is equal to 6 upon 2S into 2S plus 1. It is giving to the partial fraction by A upon S plus B upon 2S plus 1. And the A and B are values coming to be 6 and minus 6. So your Ct will coming to be the same 6 minus 6 into the power minus 0.5, which is exactly similar as in the previous case. So how to do the partial fraction expansion in the MATLAB? If you want to expand the polynomial into the partial fractions, use the residue commands in the MATLAB. That means if you are having the function ys is equal to y1, y2, and yn, and x is equal to x1, x2, and xn, then your RPK values will be equal to residue into y upon x. That means R is the numerator coefficient, P is the coefficient with the numerator part, okay, and K is your final constant. Okay, it's your C part. So let's take an example. If you have this polynomial which is equal to minus 4s upon 8 upon s square plus 6s plus 8, and you use a MATLAB command, then you will be getting at r equal to minus 12 8, p is equal to minus 4 12, and k is equal to 0. So that means your equation, your partial fraction for this equation will be minus 12 upon s plus 4 plus 8 upon s plus 2. Now, if you want to expand the polynomial into partial fraction, use a residual command. Again, we are having another session. Now let's take an example with this. When we have calculated the step response in the S domain, that is giving me this. So when I apply this residual command in this function, I will be getting minus 6 upon s plus minus 0.51 plus 6 square. We have seen that with the variation of the time constant, how the system is behaving or getting more sluggish. We have seen that how the system behaves and responds for the various time gains for the time constant. That how if you increase the time constant from 1 second to 3 seconds to 5 seconds to 7 seconds, the sluggishness of the system is increased, and the time taken by the system to reach its steady state stability is increased. But with the increase in the time constant, the errors are also being reduced. For the lower time constants, the error is around to 63.2%, whereas if you take the 5 time constants, 5t, 5 times the time constant, then it will be, the error has been reduced to almost to 0.7 or below that. So the accuracy of the system increases, but with the reduction in the settling time. Then we have seen the various responses, relationship between the step and impulse response. The step response for the first order system is been shown, and the difference in the relationship is being discussed. That means we can see the first order derivation of the step response results into the impulse response. We have taken some examples as well. We have seen the partial fraction expansions and how to implement it over the MATLAB using the residue command. We have seen the ramp response for the first order system, that how the ramp responses have been there and why, how the errors are being introduced. Now in this response, in the ramp response, with the increase in the time constant, the error is increased, which is quite different from the previous discussed cases, that is for the impulse and step responses. We have also seen the parabolic response. We have seen the partial determination of the transfer function of first order system. We have seen the effect of zeros and a first order system without a zero. We have done the comparison in both the cases. When in the zero case, when the t is less than alpha, and when the t is greater than alpha. This was the problem which I have given to you to do it on. Now let's take another example, the very practical example, that we are having one thermometer which requires a 1 minute to indicate 98% of the response to a step input. Assuming the thermometer to be the first order system, find the time constants. The very first problem is been stating that to indicate the 98% of the response of the step input, it took around 1 minute, and the thermometer is of the first order system. We have to identify the time constant. Another problem in the same question is that if the thermometer is placed in bath, the temperature of which is changing linearly at the rate of 10 degree per minute, how much error does the thermometer shows? We have to also identify the errors. So let's see this. When we plot the pole zero, let's consider this first order system in which it is shown to you that the time is constant is been given by 1 and the gain is been given by k equal to 10. Now, in this case, we can see when we plot the pole zero map, the step response can be obtained in a way that the number of poles is equal to 1, which is at s is equal to minus of 1. And for a similar case of problem, when I divide it, the complete is by the time constant, that is point t is equal to 0.5, then in that case your pole has been shifted to -2. Similarly, when the time constant is again reduced, the pole has been shifted to -3. So as we are increasing the pole, as we are increasing the time constant, t is equal to 1 second, then t is equal to 0.5 second, and then t is equal to 0.3 second, your pole has been shifting towards the left hand side of the scale on the x-axis, on the real axis. Okay, this shows that when the time constant with the different time constant, your step response is getting more faster. You're getting more faster response. In this case, you are getting a response at a steady state value. You are almost getting a response of 98% at around 4 seconds. But here, you are getting a 98% of responses at this one, at this point, point 4. Okay. Now the first order systems with the delays. Following transfer function represents the first order system with a time lag where this delay, exponentially delay, time delay is being provided. The TD is the delay time. Now it is always sometimes it becomes necessary to introduce the delay, or it was also to provide the better time lags for better results and for desired outputs. Consider this example, consider this problem. The CS upon RS, the transfer function is been given by K upon ST plus 1, where K is your gain and T is your time constant and TD is your delay time. Now, if we plot the step response with the unit step response, with the unit step input, the step response will be provided in this graph. Look at this graph. Initially, when there is no time delay, the graph was starting initially from exactly from 0, like over here. But with the introduction of this time delay, there is a delay has been provided in the step input, and it starts from after some time delay of this much. Okay, the response we are getting at after some time delay. Okay, though we will be getting the same output, but the delay will be provided in the initial phase of the response. Now look at this. This is the step response with the delays. For an example, let's the transfer function has been given by 10 upon 3s plus 1 into e to the power minus 2s. So when we plot this, now it is always sometimes it becomes necessary to introduce the delay, or it was also to provide the better time lags for better results and for desired outputs. Consider this example, consider this problem. The CS upon RS, the transfer function is been given by K upon ST plus 1, where K is your gain and t is your time constant, and td is your delay time. Now, if we plot the step response with the unit step response with the unit step input, the step response will be provided in this graph. Look at this graph. Initially, when there is no time delay, the graph was starting initially from exactly from zero, like over here. But with the introduction of this time delay, there is a delay has been provided in the step input, and it starts from after some time delay of this such. Okay, the response we are getting at after some time delay. Okay, though we will be getting the same output, but the delay will be provided in the initial phase of the response. Now look at this. This is the step response with the delays. For an example, let's the transfer function has been given by 10 upon 3s plus 1 into e to the power minus 2s. Now it is always sometimes it becomes necessary to introduce the delay, or it was also to provide the better time lapse for better results and for desired outputs. Consider this example, consider this problem. The Cs upon Rs, the transfer function is been given by k upon st plus 1, where k is your gain and t is your time constant, and td is your delay time. Now, if we plot the step response with the unit step response with the unit step input, the step response will be provided in this graph. Look at this graph. Initially, when there is no time delay, the graph was starting initially from exactly from zero, like over here. But with the introduction of this time delay, there is a delay has been provided in the step input, and it starts from after some time delay of this such. Okay, the response we are getting at after some time delay. Okay, though we will be getting the same output, but the delay will be provided in the initial phase of the response. Now look at this. This is the step response with the delays. For an example, let's the transfer function has been given by 10 upon 3s plus 1 into e to the power minus 2s. Now it is always sometimes it becomes necessary to introduce the delay, or it was also to provide the better time lapse for better results and for desired outputs. Consider this example, consider this problem. The Cs upon Rs, the transfer function has been given by k upon st plus 1, where k is your gain and t is your time constant, and td is your delay time. Now, if we plot the step response with the unit step response with the unit step input, the step response will be provided in this graph. Look at this graph. Initially, when there is no time delay, the graph was starting initially from exactly from zero, like over here. But with the introduction of this time delay, there is a delay has been provided in the step input, and it starts from after some time delay of this such. Okay, the response we are getting at after some time delay. Okay, though we will be getting the same output, but the delay will be provided in the initial phase of the response. Now look at this. This is the step response with the delays. For an example, let's the transfer function has been given by 10 upon 3s plus 1 into e to the power minus 2s. When we will plot this, we will be getting a delay of how much? 2 seconds. And it will for 2 seconds, no response will be provided to you. But after 2 seconds, the response will start coming out. Okay, the response will be 0 for 0 to 2 seconds, and it will start continuing from later stages. Okay, and here the gain is being given to k is equal to 10 over. Now let's take another example for a first order system, look at this. We are having an armature controlled DC motor. So the transfer function is being provided to you omega upon us, where this omega is a speed we are having one DC motor. We are having one DC motor which is controlling the speed is being controlled, okay, using the armature control methods. We will control the armature current, and with the control of this armature current we will be controlling the back EMF, and this back EMF will be ultimately controlling the speed of the motor. So keeping the field winding constant, that is the field voltage constant, keeping the field current constant, and only the armature current will be varied. Okay, so in this basically what we are going to control, we are controlling the speed with response with the input control of an armature current. How the armature current is controlled? From this generator. Okay, this by controlling this generator over the controlling the IA. Okay, so your output is what? Output upon input transfer function has been shown to you, that is KT upon RA upon JS into B plus KT into RB upon RA, where RA is the armature resistance of the motor. LA is the armature inductance of the motor. J is the inertia. Okay, and B is your mass. So by controlling this in this way, we are going to control the speed. When we convert this type of into the electrical system, then we will be able to look at this RC circuit. For an example, if you would like to control the electrical system, how to draw the control system blocks. This is an RC circuit in which the R is the resistance and C is the capacitor connected in series, and the output has been taken across the capacitor, and the input has been EI, which is given from this port. So this is a two-port network in which the input is been EI and output is your E0. So if you establish a relationship or establish a transfer function between the output upon the input, we will be getting it as a 1 upon RCS plus 1. So once this first order system is been calculated, we can easily calculate the stability. We can do the analysis very easily. Similarly, in the previous one, this is also what? Look at this. If you look at this, your system is what? First order system. Your system is what? First order system. Okay. This is an example of mechanical system. We are having one damper, we are having one spring. So when the displacement is been done with respect to the x naught with the damper, we are having a displacement with respect to the spring with an xi. So when we compress it, that how much is the displacement in the spring will cause the displacement in the damper. So the output is your what? Is your damper output out x naught, and x1 is your spring input. Okay, so if we establish a relationship between the x naught and xi, then we can make it as 1 upon b upon ks plus 1, where all this is also a first order system in the mechanical domain. The another example for the first order system is a cruise control of vehicle. For an example, a car is moving in a particular direction with the velocity of u, and this velocity is been defined by the x dot, and the acceleration for this velocity is been given by v dot, that is your x double dot, where x is your displacement. X is your displacement with respect to the time period. Okay, that means the velocity will be the displacement. This is a dx upon dt, and acceleration will be equal to dx square upon dt. So we establish, if we establish the output upon input relationship, okay, then it will be equal to 1 upon ms plus b, where m is the mass of the motor of the machine or the car, and b is the friction loss.
ठीक है, इंटू आर एस डिवाइड में आ गया इधर, तो जेड एस कितना आ गया ये, और सी एस क्या है G3 इंटू जेड एस, तो इसमें सब्सटीट्यूट कर दूं G3 इंटू G1 G2 अपॉन 1 प्लस G1 G2 इंटू आर एस, तो सी एस अपॉन आर एस कितना हो जाएगा बेटा, सी अपॉन आर हो जाएगा आपका G1 G2 G3 अपॉन 1 प्लस G1 G2। कौन सा मैच कर रहा है, अच्छा इधर प्लस है ना, तो इसको माइनस कर दो, अपन पॉजिटिव पोलैरिटी लेके चल रहे हैं इधर, इसलिए नेगेटिव आ रही है, पोलैरिटी इसको डजंट मैटर। ठीक है, अब देखो तो क्या आंसर आ गया इसका, कौन सा वाला ऑप्शन है बताओ, फर्स्ट आंसर G1 G2 G3 अपॉन 1 माइनस G1 G2। ठीक है, ठीक है, तो क्या करा पहले, सबसे पहले अपन ने क्या करा, अपन ने पहले छोटे वाले इस वाले ब्लॉक को सॉल्व करा, और फिर उसके बाद इसका जो आउटपुट आएगा उसको इस ब्लॉक के संग सॉल्व कर लिया। क्या ऐसा पॉसिबल हो सकता था कि अपन दूसरा मेथड अप्लाई कर सकते हैं इसमें, बिल्कुल पॉसिबल है इसको दूसरा मेथड। मैं आपको बताता हूँ दूसरा मेथड क्या रहेगा। पहले मैं इस टेक अवे पॉइंट को शिफ्ट करके इधर ले आऊंगा, और उसके बाद मैं इन दोनों का सीरीज कनेक्शन करूंगा, फिर उसके बाद पूरे बड़े वाले ब्लॉक को सॉल्व करूंगा। तो मतलब 3 प्रोसेस इसमें अप्लाई हुए मेरे पास। और जबकि जो अपन ने मेथड अप्लाई करा, पहले क्या करा कि पहले छोटे वाले ब्लॉक को सॉल्व कर लिया क्लोज लूप को, तो पहला मेथड एक, और दूसरा फिर इसका जो सीरीज कनेक्शन बना उसको सॉल्व करा। तो वी हैव सॉल्व्ड ओनली इन द टू। सो आपको सॉल्यूशन करना है कैसे, क्वेश्चन को जज करके कि मेरा इजी मेथड सॉल्व जितनी जल्दी कौन से मेथड से हो पाएगा। ठीक है, तो गेट में क्या होता है बेसिकली, इस तरह का एक गेट में क्वेश्चन आया हुआ है। गेट में क्या होता है कि अब आपको किसी भी क्वेश्चन करने के लिए 3 मिनट मिलते हैं बेटा। हाउ मेनी मिनट्स यू गेट, यू गेट 3 मिनट्स। इन विदिन these 3 minutes you have to perform the 3 tasks. The very first task is you have to read the question, क्वेश्चन को रीड करना पड़ेगा। देन यू हैव टू सॉल्व द क्वेश्चन, कि किस तरह से सॉल्व होएगा, कैसे सॉल्व होएगा, और उसके बाद आपको जो OMR शीट है, ठीक है, या आपका जो रेस्पॉन्स है उसको मार्क भी करना पड़ेगा। तो सिर्फ 3 मिनट में आपको ये 3 काम करने हैं। ये आप 15 सेकेंड्स में कंप्लीट करो, ठीक है, रीड करने के लिए ये आप 1-2 सेकंड लो मैक्सिमम। ठीक है, और सॉल्यूशन के लिए बचे आपके पास पूरे लगभग 2.5 मिनट, मैक्सिमम बता रहा हूँ 2.5 मिनट को मिनिमम। ठीक है, तो 2.5 मिनट में आपको पूरा क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करना होता है। ठीक है, तो इसलिए आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ेगा कि मेरा इजी मेथड कौन सा है, 3 स्टेप्स में या 2 स्टेप्स में। वो आपको कब आइडेंटिफाई होगा, व्हेन यू डू अ लॉट ऑफ प्रैक्टिस ऑफ दिस सच टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस। When you do a lot of numericals, you will be easily able to understand that how to solve such type of. It will directly click in your mind how to solve these. Okay, you don't need to think about for a few minutes. It will directly click into your mind that how to solve such type of questions. Okay, now look at the question number 3. Okay, before this, look at the question number 4. Tell me the answer. Tell me the answer. Tell me the answer. What will be the closed loop gain of the system? Closed loop gain means you have to identify the C by R value. Find out. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Try to solve it. Then after this, we will close the session. Okay, try to solve it with your own. You note it down over somewhere else, and then okay. Is that clear? So I'm closing the session.